What's up guys, DuArktik with another Marvel Strike Force video, and in this video we are going to talk about the incursion raids. Specifically we're going to talk about the mutant lane. While it's not a major problem right now, the enemies that we are facing are going to be quite problematic when you get to the higher difficulties. So on the lowest difficulties, not a huge deal, because you can destroy the enemies right away. But on the higher difficulties, it's definitely going to be a problem. And it's very likely that we are going to get a new mutant raid team sooner than later, because the death scene that has been around for a very long time. And it makes sense to retire it. Now, in the past, we have gotten a new raid team in December, January, which is the 2-month patch, which was the Astonishing X-Men. And then with the Death Seed, I don't remember if it was on the same time frame when they were first out. Maybe it was. Maybe it actually was on the same time frame, because Archangel was the last legendary to be released. So he probably got released within that same time frame as well. So we are back again on during the winter, and we are probably going to get a new mutant team sooner than later. So in this video we are going to talk about which is the most likely team to be the new raid team based on the enemies that we are facing, and which characters might be coming. We'll see. So as always, if you like the information on these videos, make sure you share it with your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe for more Marvel Strike Force content, and make sure you smash that like button like a boss. Okay, let's get started. So first off, let's take a look at my gameplay from yesterday. This was during the live stream. I stream every day of the week. If you guys want to check out, we do the raids, Alliance Wars, Cosmic Crucible, Dark Dimension, all that good stuff. And this was the team I was using. Now, I saw the envoy footage, but to be honest, I fell asleep during one of the videos, so I don't remember very well what they used. But I saw that they used Apocalypse and that they didn't use Magneto. And that makes sense, because all the nodes will have a Rhino, and Rhino stops Magneto. So the answer for the mutant nodes is definitely not going to be Magneto. I decided to use Rogue because Rogue was already a mutant that I was using together with Death Seed on the previous raid, together with Apocalypse and together with Archangel, because Rogue, she's very powerful together with Archangel, because she's gonna get energy all the time, and that means she can spam her ultimate and her stun all the time. So overall I thought, okay, this is gonna be a decent team, so let's see what happens. And this is what happens. Let's take a look at the interaction of the enemies. Okay, so first off, you probably can't see it, but there is a Deadpool right there in the corner. Deadpool in raids, she gives speed bar to all mystic allies, and this means Absorbing Man, this means the Gwenpool, this means Quicksilver, yes, Quicksilver, very dangerous character, and then we also have Dormammu, another very problematic character. So guess what? Well, the Dead Seed without Magneto, they're not that fast, and they don't have that early protection that Magneto brings to the table. Now, if you have Magneto, you are still applying the blind only to Rhino, Dormammu, and Captain Sam, because you have this Absorbing Man here. So there is no freaking way you can use your Magneto here. If you use the Disrupt, it's pointless, because you can only use it on Absorbing Man, and these other guys, they are not doing much. So first problem that we have to deal with right away is characters with speed bar on spawn. Then we also have Emma Frost that does speed reduction, and that means our characters are going to be 10% slower. Apocalypse stops that, but are we going to get a team revolving around Apocalypse? Someone asked me yesterday what I thought about the other children of Apocalypse coming to the game, some other characters with Egyptian themes and so on. I really like that idea, but I'm not sure if that's going to be possible, because some of those characters are very obscure to most people, and it's going to be probably a hard sell for Scopely to sell those characters. Maybe in the future, with progressive introduction of some of those characters, it will be possible, but right now I don't really think it. Okay, so once again, we have the problems of Rhino, we have the problems of the Mystic characters because of the speed bar, and that's going to give us a massive disadvantage. So all the enemies are going to attack us. Then they also have a Val. Val, another problematic character, but you can avoid those abilities from Val if you have characters with evades. So problems that we have here, Rhino. We have very fast characters, and we have characters with abilities where evades would be very helpful. And this is going to help us out figuring which teams we are going to use in the future. Of course, that Archangel here and Apocalypse are still great. You still get the safeguard, the immunity, the defense up. And whenever you get a kill, you also are turning winding the enemies. So that's going to be another important factor, is that if we are turning winding the enemies with Archangel, we also need some characters that are turning wind the enemies on the new raid team. Okay, so we keep turning winding them, then we are destroying all of them. And yeah, so this is the lower difficulty. As soon as you start doing damage, of course, we are going to shred the enemies if your team is big enough. And my team, as you guys saw, is very big. It's like 1.8 million or something. I have 3 characters with gear tier 18, so this is definitely a very strong team, and that means that this team is definitely not supposed to be used here. But there you go. So once again, to recap, the problems that we have with this raid, with a mutant raid, is that we cannot apply blinds because the enemies have Rhino, the enemies have pre-taunting tanks, the enemies have Mystic characters that are going to get a bunch of speed bar on spawn, and the characters have abilities where if we have dodges or evades, that would be very helpful. So in my opinion, the team that we are going to get next as the mutant raid team, from the characters we have available, so let's take a look once again. We have Dead Seed, we have Astonishing X-Men, we have Unlimited X-Men, we have Uncanny X-Men, we have X-Factor, and we have X-Force. From all these characters, which are the ones that seem to be the best contenders for these? Once again, speed bar manipulation, evades, disrupts, and buffs on spawn. I think the best team that we are going to get is going to be the X-Force, right? I think that it has to be the X-Force. Some kind of X-Force is going to be the team that we are going to use for these raids. And I'm not the only one with this opinion. We also have a video from Town, early release this morning, about X-Force 2.0 coming to the game. Now, while I don't interpret the data mines the same way that he does, because right now we are going through a phase where Dr. Octopus is very important, and X-Force are the ones that unlock Dr. Octopus, and you need Dr. Octopus to have together with the Green Goblin and the Superior Six. So it could be a coincidence, it could be a coincidinky, but you know Scopely. Whenever they started to, it's never a coincidence. Let's be honest, it's never a coincidence. It's never a coincidence. They always do things for a case. And we have minor references of Cyclops glasses. We have minor references of Cable. So it could really mean that X-Force is definitely going to get a rework. And that rework is going to be for raids. Now, have you seen this in the past? Yes, we have seen this in the past. In the past, we had New Warriors, and they were used for raids, and then they changed them from raids to Cosmic Crucible. And now we could see X-Force going from Alliance Wars to raids and be useful on those two game modes as well. Now, we can talk about which characters I think are going to be the main characters. Of course, I think Cable is still going to be the main character on the team. One of the reasons why, it's because of his special. He reduces the speed bar of the enemies by 50% on the main target and 10% on additional targets. And if you have the T4, it does even more speed bar reduction. It also removes positive effects from the enemies, which, like I said, we have a pre-taunting tank, so that's going to be a big deal. And then he also has abilities that fills the speed bar on him whenever he uses the basic. So that means he has the possibility of having multiple turns pretty quickly. So if we could give Cable an energy source to make sure that he's using his ultimate more often, that would be quite great. The ultimate also gives him speed bar and additional energy if you can kill someone, so that would be another situation where it would be great. We also have unavoidable attack, and from the enemies we are facing, there are a few characters with evades, so that would be helpful as well. And of course we have the Cable passive that gives speed bar on spawn, he gives barrier, he also gives counters, and what else? Counters if he's charged, and then he gets more barrier. And in Alliance Wars, fill the speed bar for self and now X-Force allies by 5% plus additional 5% per X-Force allies. So what this means is that if they change the speed bar on spawn from Alliance Wars to also raids, and from 5% to 10%, this team would be much faster than the enemy team, even with the Deadpool. And with Cable we'll be able to turn rewind the enemies by a decent amount and give us enough time in order to catch up to the enemies. Another character that I think has to be part of this team is going to be Domino, and the reason why it's because she has very high chance of applying evade to allies. Now we have seen these evade mechanics in the past with the Web Warriors and with the Kitty Pryde, and the Kitty Pryde version, it was very annoying, but on our side of the field it was not that great. It was kind of garbage, because having one evade when you are facing like 10 enemies at the same time, it's not that much of a big deal. But you can see that the Domino, she gives dodge chance to herself, she gives to X-Force characters as well, and then we also have crit chance and crit damage, and this is something that we have seen with other teams as well, right? We have seen this with Bionic Avengers, which was also a great team. Beyond that, fill the speed bar for self and all X-Force allies in Alliance Wars offense, and once again, this is pretty much similar to what Cable does, and once again, it would force you to have these two characters together at the same time. In terms of the other characters, I'm not really sure about it, because Deadpool is kind of a garbage character, and most of his abilities are not meaningful enough. So maybe if they would change, like Deadpool on crit, he gives energy or something to the rest of the team, that would be nice. He could also be the tank of the team, making sure that all the splash damage and all the main damage is really being applied to him, all negative effects and so on. So even if he gets killed, he gets revived, and then because we are facing Quicksilver, right? You guys remember Quicksilver? If Quicksilver kills Deadpool, he revives, and then let's imagine that on revive he gets taunted. That would be great, right? That would be excellent for this team. So I could really definitely see these characters working out together. And finally we have Negasonic. She is pretty much garbage. She was always garbage in Alliance Wars, and she gets barrier. She also feels the speed bar of herself, but I think she has the worst value in terms of all characters. X-23, she also has speed bar mechanics. She has ability block, which is great in any kind of scenario. She also has evade mechanics on her passive. She also heals herself. She also gives focus. So she could be an option, but in my opinion, the less likely characters to be on this team is going to be Negasonic and maybe X-23. I think X-23 has the most potential, but Negasonic definitely the least potential. So if you are taking a look at some kind of X-Force character, X-Force team, X-Force characters, which character could you see on this team? And I think this is gonna make a lot of people happy, is that we could finally see Nightcrawler coming to the game and being part of this team. Is he going to be a legendary? I'm not sure about it, because it's too early to release another legendary. We are at the end of November, and if Nightcrawler would be a legendary for raids, that means it would be only around early March, maybe. There is a possibility, there is definitely a possibility, but I don't think Scopely is gonna do that. What I think they are going to do is to release a legendary for Bio, and this is going to be a team on the same level as the Bifrost and on Pegasus, where they don't really have a legendary, they just have popular or good Scopely original characters like Kestrel, right, or like Val, and that might be the case. We might get some original character of X-Force, and then what's his name? Nightcrawler to come along with his team. So what you guys know, what you guys think about this theory? Do you think it makes sense based on the enemies that we are facing, based on the mechanics of the team? You think it could be a possibility that X-Force rework is going to be the next raid team? Let me know of that in the comments below, and as always, if you like the information on these videos, make sure you share it with your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe for more Mouse Force content, and I'll catch you guys later.